Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Elizabeth, but you can call me Liz, and welcome. So today I tried my hand at a little bit of a different video. I want to get better at creating Sims in CAS, and so I thought, why don't I try recreating some actual people? So I chose the members of Stray Kids as kind of the people that I wanted to create. If you don't know, Stray Kids is a K-pop band, and they come from, if you don't know what K-pop is, they're a Korean pop band. Um, but yeah, so if you can't tell who this is already, which you probably can't because I've barely started on him, this is Bangchan. Sorry if my pronunciation is off. You can let me know in the comments how to pronounce it. Um, but yeah, I started out with him because he's the oldest of the group. And whenever they're introducing each other, um, and who they always start with the oldest. So I wanted to go kind of in that order. So as you can see, I had quite a few things that I struggled with. Um, Bangchan has a very, well, they all have very distinct faces, and I wanted to get them as close as the person that I was referencing as I could. So I was like zooming in really closely at like his eyes and his lips and things like that and trying to get different angles. So I was branching out way out of my comfort zone, but I think I did a pretty good job. It's not perfect and I don't know if it's quite accurate, but it's definitely close enough to where you look at him and you're like, yeah, I can see who that is. So the main things that I struggled with was his eyes, because he's got actually quite round eyes and he doesn't have much of bags underneath them. I don't know if it was because I of like the pictures that I was looking at. I looked at quite a few of them, or maybe it was the lighting or something, but I just didn't see that. So when I was trying to find eyes that suited him, I was having a really difficult time. I ended up putting some like eyeliner on his eyes, and that helped quite a bit for me to kind of determine which ones would fit because it helped to kind of give him that eye structure that he has. Um, the other thing that I struggled kind of the most with is his nose. He has I'm saying this very gently. He has kind of a larger nose, which is very attractive. Fangshan, if you're ever watching this, which I hope you're not, because that would be embarrassing. But if you do, hi. Good job with the band. Keep working hard and producing music. Loved the trailer that came out recently. But anyways, yeah, he has a little bit of a larger nose, but it's very, very symmetrical and it's also really straight. So my goal with this kind of video was to challenge myself to only use um what the Sims 4 has. I didn't have any CC or anything like that. So it was a bit challenging, um especially because I'm sure there are probably presets and things like that that would make this a lot easier. Um, but that would have been branching out of kind of the challenge that I was doing. So yeah, I struggled really hard to find like a nose that was symmetrical and looked like his, but it was also straight. A lot of them ended up kind of curving downwards, and I was getting kind of frustrated. Like, I could hear myself as I was editing it just saying, like, no, this isn't right, things like that. So that was kind of funny to listen to. Also, I was listening to their music as I was creating them because, hey, that's some good inspiration there to help fuel your motivation to continue. Um, But yeah, the other thing that I worked on that was a little bit more difficult was his lips, just because there isn't any like lips that are quite like his. he's got like very full lips and they're quite round. And so I had a little bit of troubles finding that something that worked. The last thing that I did was I noticed that so if you look at him from the side, he's got quite a strong like jawline, but if you look at him from the front, you can't really tell. So his face is kind of like a bit, it's gentle from the front and then it's angular from the back, if that or like from the side, if that makes any sense. So I tried to incorporate that the best I could as I was editing him, or not editing him, as I was creating him. So yeah, I will make sure to have some kind of photos that I was referencing, and I'll definitely have the photo that I used for his outfit. I tried to either so I used all of their outfits from Instagrams, like their different Instagrams, and I tried to do either their like most recent at the time of recording this, their most recent outfits, or I chose some that are kind of iconic, especially for Felix, because he's known for kind of breaking out of kind of the stereotypical um, clothing, because he kind of dresses androgynous. He will dress in both male and female clothes. And so I chose one of his, I think it was one of his runway outfits um to do, but you'll see that once I do him. So, yeah, here I am working on the lips. As you can see, it was really hard for me to find like lips that looked like his because they're again kind of fuller and they're round. But yeah, the other thing that I did is I did give him a tiny bit of makeup because if you take a closer look at my reference photo for his outfit, I think he's wearing a little bit of eyeshadow. I could be wrong because he's wearing like a cap too, and so that could just be like a shadow from his cap, but it kind of looks like it. And the other thing that I gave him was, of course, the eyeliner to help with the shape of his eyes, and I gave him a tiny bit of like color to his lips because he does have color in his lips. The Sims 4, whenever you pick a skin, it kind of um their lip color is usually either pretty close to the skin or it's just not sticking out a bunch. And Bangchan's lip color definitely is different from his skin color, so that's what I did. But you guys can feel free to download these Sims as you see fit if you want to kind of play with them a bit and finagle them to look either more accurate or more towards your style. Go ahead. I'll have this uploaded for you guys to download. Um, Also, what's a little bit funny, but also kind of embarrassing, I'm a little bit of an awkward person in real life. I'm quite shy. So when I was doing their body shapes, I felt so awkward about it. And so you can actually see me kind of do it really quickly and then put a shirt on as soon as I could. I didn't want to look up like what's their body shapes and stuff like that and look at pictures because it just made me really uncomfortable and I want to give these guys their privacy even though some of them are like showing off their abs at concerts and stuff. I just didn't want to look that up. I was a little bit too anxious about that. So I didn't. So if you think that their like body shape isn't quite right, please tweak it to fit like how you think they actually look. I just did it really quickly because it made me really uncomfortable and I didn't want to. I wanted to keep these guys like with their privacy and things like that. So anyways, a little bit of a funny story. But yeah, I think I am almost done with this. So I will let you guys listen to the rest of the music. All right. So this is what I ended up with. Is it super accurate? No, I don't think so, but I hoped that it's at least like close enough to where if you look at it, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's Chris. um, but yeah, so his outfit, this was the best I could do with The Sims, based off of my inspiration photo. One of the things that I struggled with was like the hat, because in The Sims 4, a lot of the hats look like they just like place it on their head, especially the caps, instead of like actually looking like they're wearing it. So I used this cap because it actually looks like he's wearing a hat and not just like having one placed on his head like the other ones. I also chose this hair because I felt that it kind of matched his hairstyle the best in the picture, especially right now, with the like in the picture it's kind of recent, and so I think he's been like growing out his hair a little bit, and he has these like face framing pieces of hair that go along both sides of the face. But I was debating between this one and another one, and I ended up deciding on this one just because it does have those face framing pieces of hair. These earrings I chose because they looked the most like the ones that he was wearing. They were like silver, and had kind of a hanging piece on them that looked like that. They were definitely smaller than this, but in The Sims they like to have a lot of the earrings are pretty big, so this is what I could work with. The pants are not quite what he was wearing. They didn't have these like iron lines on them, and they weren't quite so fitted. They were pretty like straight, but I couldn't really find a pants that fit that. One of them was close, but it had kind of rolled up bottoms like towards the hem, and I didn't think that fit because he didn't have that, so I thought this was the closest one. It's also not quite the same jean color that he has, but they don't quite have that color in The Sims. A lot of his outfit, especially because I'm only using kind of The Sims 4 and not CC, is like, this is close enough to the outfit. Like, it's inspired by it. He is wearing 2 bracelets in the picture. They don't quite look like that. They are like kind of smaller and metal. But I thought, yep, this is close enough. And finally, for his shoes, I couldn't quite find one that looked a lot like his shoes. In the picture, I couldn't tell if they were sneakers or if they were dress shoes. I decided to go with sneakers because his overall outfit is kind of more on the casual side. And so I thought that sneakers would fit this. So also, let me know if you want me to use their Korean name or if you want me to use their idol name like I am right now. I just put Bangchan and then Stray Kids like as the last name because you do need a last name when you upload it to the gallery. For his traits, I picked Perfectionist because when you see videos of them, especially the when you see videos of them, especially the behind the scene videos, you can see that he's pretty organized and he likes making sure that everything looks just right. I also gave him the loyal trait because he is the oldest member in the group and he has kind of that brotherly role for all of them. That he's someone you can lean on if you're feeling sad or things like that. And so I thought that the loyal trait was best. And then finally I picked athletic because he talks about when he was in Australia especially, that he was in all of the sports and was always super active and just going out and doing things, so I thought that fit him well. But yeah, this is what I ended up with. Let me know if you guys think it's good and also let me know if there's like some things that I could improve upon, because my whole goal for this is to challenge myself to get better at creating Sims. So yeah, but thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye guys.